What did that one teacher do to you that you'll never forget? Made us make paper cranes for hall passes. 20 years later I can still make a top-notch crane. In my senior year, my English teacher asked me if I was manic-depressive after turning in a personal essay. Only for me to get diagnosed with bipolar disorder a week later. My band teacher drove me home several times after the 7 p.m. jazz band practice. My dad was supposed to pick me up, but several times he fell asleep and didn't answer the phone when I tried to call. 3rd grade Mrs. Jones. My dad had just deserted us and we were suddenly destitute. She bought my school pictures for us and paid my lunch bill all year. She never said a word about it. Only found out later. Bless her. In high school one of my teachers had this duck bill whistle. Literally shaped like a duck's bill and it made a quacking noise. She used it to get the class attention. One time I guess we were being extra rowdy and she blew the ever-loving shit out of it and the class went stone dead quiet. She got this shocked look on her face. And then took her hairpin out and dropped it and the whole class heard it hit the ground and she got this big grin on her face and we all just busted out laughing. Had the police come to the school because he had reason to believe I was smoking cigarettes and using drugs in 7th grade. No. Both of my parents smoked in the house. I didn't even know I smelled like cigarettes until the police told me why they were searching my backpack, desk and locker. He knew my home life wasn't the best. He saw a bright kid but someone who struggled with just, following orders. He wrote home as I was failing and spoke more kindly about me than most had ever done. It was very nice. My re-teacher tried to keep me behind for no reason. I'm a complete goody two-shoes and he gave me my first ever detention for asking my friend about what textbook page we were reading after coming to class late following an appointment. The guy tried to make me pick bits of paper and rubber bands off the floor as he watched me do it. I walked out. With 0 consequences. When I was in 7th grade there was a teacher at my school that was essentially a love child of Santa and an elf. Dude was 5'2", over 300 pounds, and had a beard that would put Gimli to shame. My first ever conversation with this man ended with him saying, "Now you go get yourself something to eat, big man." Shit caught me so off guard. I didn't realize what he had said until after I walked away. Not me. My brother. He had one of those haircuts that was popular in the mid-90s where you have long fringe. Maybe 5. But skinhead the rest. He was a skateboarder. Anyway, the wood shop teacher decided that the haircut was an health and safety hazard and swiftly cut his hair in front of the whole class meanwhile berating him. Kids today. Etc. Etc. My brother was 12 and came home from school crying. My father was less than pleased. And apparently went up to school and made a right kerfuffle, as he should. My mother was very embarrassed by it all. I'll never forget. Had a high school art teacher who would let me stay in his classroom during lunches. Always gave me half his sandwich and other extra food because he knew I didn't eat much otherwise. Edit. He would also keep a drawer in the classroom stocked with snacks so that I could swing by and grab something between classes if I needed. No. He never did anything questionable. And no, I never fell asleep after eating the sandwiches. He was just a kind person. I called somebody stupid once when they got a question wrong and the teacher instantly made me stand up and spell stupid backwards. Got it wrong with the pressure and learned a lesson that day. I can't remember what I did, but in 1st grade my teacher got mad at me and said, "You wanna act like a baby? Fine, come over here." She made me sit in a corner on the floor and gave me 2 little toys to play with. Called my mom while she was at work to tell her I'd written one of the best things he'd ever seen as a teacher. This teacher was extremely strict, hated by my class, but loved me because I was one of the few who respected her and did well in her class. When school ended, she gave me a crystal bear. Nothing too fancy or expensive. But I felt as if I was glowing leaving that classroom with bear in my hand. I still have it and will treasure it forever. I was anorexic when I was in school. She took me aside after class and told me that if I didn't stop doing what I was doing to myself I was going to die. That my body was going to start shutting down. My organs would fail. That it would not be beautiful and I was going to die an awful and painful death. I still catch myself slipping back into that mindset 10 years later sometimes. But I will never forget that. She saved my life. She took every phone call no matter the time of night while I was in rehab. If it wasn't for her being there in my lowest time, I probably would not be here today. Had 10 minutes to spare before lunch bell and he told us all to go jerk off or whatever it is you do. I don't know what he wanted to say and he apologized to us. But it was funny as hell. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Kind strangers. I broke up with my boyfriend the night before my final and as I was walking to class to take it, my teacher, seeing me, told me that I could take it the following day with his afternoon class without me even saying a word. He was a really great teacher. There was the pretty old economy teacher who always talked about his fishing trips, who gave me an extra point for drawing a dead Kennedy's logo on my test. Then there was the history teacher who turned out to be a pedophile, who I had a whole conversation with about fur coats. And the art teacher who was literally always pregnant. And still is, according to my friends who still go to that school. Accidentally left paperwork on my desk that showed government grade projections based on family income, which meant I should have failed the class knowing full well it would trigger me to make sure I got the best grade in the entire school year. Every other teacher told me how smart I was and how well I could do if I applied myself. This sob knew that was not the way to make me work, haha. My teacher told me she was proud of me and that I have my own opinions and that she hopes I succeed in the future. Called my handwriting a chicken shit. I was never the same again. 5th grade. Teacher was shaking with anger because I put my math problems horizontally instead of vertically. Or something really stupid like that. She snapped at me for not being able to follow simple directions, and humiliated me. When she went to look at the paper of the boy next to me, he said, "I did it the same way." She smiled fondly and said, "Oh, Robert," as if she was amused. Bitch. Erase parts of my answers for multiple tests to give me a 4 instead of 2. My computer science teacher would belittle me in front of other students and even asked me why I showed up for class. I hated his class and slowly just doing the work and failed the class because he made me believe I was dumb and incapable. I'm currently working in an MSCS at a top 10 CS school and have plans to apply for PhD programs in CS next year. Got fired for setting up an illegal Guatemalan cattle market in the school basement. He made me write with my right hand. In choir class, my teacher was trying to correct the pitch of what we were singing. But instead of saying pitch, she said bitch, which made the entire classroom erupt with laughter. Told me to stop dating my boyfriend when we were 13 because it's not like you're gonna marry him. We stayed together and got married. I once got expelled for smoking weed at school when at the time I never even smoked it. I was 13 and started crying saying that I didn't smoke any weed. Since I was crying, my eyes got red and then the teacher and principal say, "Just look how red your eyes are. You're ripped out of your mind." It got me kicked off our championship basketball team and everything. I'll never forgive those two for what they did to me and the stress they caused my single mother. Had a teacher in 1st grade who was hella superstitious and stuff. One time she told us if we slept with our feet out from under the blankets, someone would break into our house, cut off our feet, and then leave them on our front porch inside our shoes. It wasn't even near Halloween or anything. She was just saying it like it was actual advice. Scared the shit out of little kid me.